You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. And we're back for a new episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens. Oh, wow. You all have been for a treat this week. I mean, I came out of nowhere and gave you all a special edition episode, and you all ate it up. We're back on the charts where we belong. Every week, every week I give you a show, and then you take the ratings and you take it up there on the iTunes Apple charts, and you're giving it listens, and I'm grateful for it. And here we are. It's about to be spring, and things are coming up roses over here. Just been a lot of just really great things happening in my life right now. I'm almost close to paying off my wedding, but I'm also keep increasing the damn bill. I just had a conversation with Lights. So I paid off, pretty much the venue's going to get paid off this month, which I'm excited about for those people who care about this. And that's getting done. The venue's pretty much secure. For those who are coming, I haven't shared where the venue is at and what the venue is. I don't believe on this podcast. I mean, I will eventually tell what the venue is, but right now I'm being mum. Mum is the word. People that are coming know what the venue is, but they have been sworn into secrecy not to share the venue. So we're not sharing the venue for now, but it is pretty much going to be done. Now I gotta get lightings. Apparently one of the areas at the venue apparently calls for lights. It's that kind of epic wedding. Like the lighting at the venue it can't even, what I'm trying to do, they haven't even really had this type of level of madness. So I have to actually bring in lighting producers to light the set. That's the best way I can describe it. And so that's going to cost us something, but doable. Nothing over the top, at least in my opinion. See, I don't know. I can't assume for everyone what their budgets are, but it's reasonable. It's doable. It's going to get done. But they're giving me a really good package because my wedding is broken down into 3 parts. It's part 1, part 2, act 1, the ceremony, act 2, the reception, and act 3, the after party, the bash, And so each of these things are different. One aspect of the wedding is going to be outdoors. The ceremony is going to be outdoors, and then the reception and the after party will be indoors, which makes sense. I didn't want to do an outdoor eating situation. Well, the cocktail hour is a part of the ceremony, so that's there, but that's light bites and spirits and things of that nature. So we're pretty excited about that. But as far as everything else, we're excited about the wedding. I mean, I'm super excited about everything. My fiance has been, he's on spring break right now. His job, he works for a college. He does communications for a college in the city, and they have a spring break. So basically he really gets to have an off. I don't really know if I have an off. I mean, I guess because I work for myself, I kind of schedule my own outings and whatnot. So I guess that's the privilege of it all. But I feel like when you're self-employed, you don't really get those quote unquote holidays, except for the ones that are mandated on your ass. When you realize, oh shit, I can't actually email people on President's Day because I would be an asshole. But for me, I don't really celebrate President's Day. So I'm just kind of does work continue? But I have to actually respect that. And then, of course, the other holidays that people choose to acknowledge. So it's interesting adapting to it. It's funny because he also has a bartending business. So he's been doing photo shoots for cocktails he made. He made a mojito, but it was a special mojito. He had passion fruit, and he played around with coconut water. It was really good. When he does his photos for his stuff, so if you go, his Instagram account is Bartender Berry. Look him up, you'll find it. He does he turns the house into a studio. The main living room is a studio. He has different backgrounds and stuff. And the way he takes the pictures, you would think that there's this shiny, tiled kitchen background. That is not my house. But with good lighting and good set, he makes it do what it do. So when he does his demo photos, he doesn't like to waste alcohol. So he's used to doing it not in the house. He likes to, go to certain bars and spaces where they let him take photos in real spaces. But he has had to create the sets. And so it's the morning. I want to say it was at 11. He doesn't use alcohol. He doesn't want to waste alcohol. So he'll use like club soda or something that's close to what the alcohol is. But he'll use the other ingredients so he can give the look because he doesn't want to waste the liquor. Well, now that he's in the house and he's been making these drinks, he doesn't want to waste it. So he'll give it to me. And I'm like excited. Like, oh my goodness, a mojito in the daytime. Time for day drinking. Man, when I tell y'all I had that drink, I was like, what is this? Where's the rum? He's like, oh, that's club soda. So it was like a light, non-alcoholic version of mojito, which I appreciated, but I was just kind of like, but that, I didn't need any liquor. Listen, I kept savoring it in my head. So now he's making me a real one. I may or may not be sipping it right now. But I'm excited, and it's a great drink. So moving along. So we talked a lot. Well, first of all, let me just say this because I don't want to forget this because I'm on wedding section. Shout out to Kelly, Kelly and Brian, her husband Brian. They sent me a lovely, beautiful engagement gift, and I'm going to cherish this. It's note cards that are personalized, and I put this on my Instagram. So for people who saw it, Kelly Mirbat, who's awesome, and we're working on some cool things together now. Her and her husband gave me this lovely note card set, and it was personalized, and they got it from a Black card creator in Chicago, which is where I was born. And so, she has put so much thought into details with this, but it says Barry and Ernest, and it's like embroidered and it's personal. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with these cards. I think I'm going to send them to people as thank you cards for the wedding or other things of that nature, like when it's from both Barry and I, because it has to make sense that it has to come from both of us. So I think it's going to be used for the wedding in some type of capacity, but it's so sweet and such a nice gift, and I'm so happy for it. And thank you all for, some of you all have been sending me fan mail and things of that nature. You all send it to, of course, the pipeline address, because I don't, put my house address out. But it's been very kind. I've received your fan mail, your letters, and people who have sent those things. Thank you so much. Just nice cards and just supportive, just stuff. I mean, and I must say this because this is real. So I don't know how people get access to. I mean, I don't. There are prison inmates who listen to my podcast. Fun fact, they listen to the podcast. And I don't know you can listen to my stuff on SoundCloud. So I don't know, someone's heard about the show, but they have found Ernestly Speaking. People on State Road have sent me love letters. Some of those letters are very nice, kind letters about the show. And then some of them are very, I'm spoken for. So, it's been interesting. But, all kind letters, nothing threatening or anything. Let me just be clear. No violent letters from anyone, but just, interesting letters. So my address for people who want to send kind fan mail and things to my main office is 30 South 15th Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19102. 30th South 15th Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19102. And that is a safe space on the 15th floor. 15th floor. Let me make sure I say that. 15th floor, because it's a main building. So it's 30 South 15th Street, 15th floor, Philadelphia, PA, 19102. That send it directly to Ernest Owens, Ernestly Speaking. That I accept packages, mail, kind things there. And they get vetted before they come to me. So if you don't even get any bad ideas, because there's people that do all the sniffing and everything before I receive it. So don't even think about it. But that is the main headquarters. People can send mail there and I will receive your mail. And if you send nice stuff like Kelly and people, you can get a shout out on the podcast. So thank you so much, Kelly. And it's always a pleasure working with you and all the nice things you've done, and your husband, Brian, too. Thank you for that. All right. So moving along to weddings, right? Royal weddings and royal hot messes. So for those who want to know my thoughts about the entire interview with my fave Oprah, with of course Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan Markle, you can listen to my special edition episode that I did earlier this week. It is in the canon. It is not episode 10. Episode 10 is this episode. So I'm keeping my numerical orders. I have a sneak peek episode, but that's not a part of the numerical canon. And there's also this special edition episode. And sometimes I will do special editions. I'll just drop them on you all. Like, I'll just come out of nowhere and you all was here for it, okay? When I saw the numbers just zoop, 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 you all just was like, listen, I want to get it. And I couldn't not, like, I did it right after the interview because I really wanted to get this out here in the streets and I really wanted to get people to listen and to engage because it was a hot topic and I just could not wait at the end of the week and let that, I mean, it was just so juicy and I had so much to say and I don't want to forget things. Of course, I knew that I was going to do some follow-up, but it wasn't going to take over an entire episode. So I'm happy that you all listened to the episode and have sent me messages about your thoughts. And I mean, I think we're all on the same page about how interesting that interview was. And I had a great opportunity to go on British radio and talk about it. And I wrote a piece for the Daily Beast, which, I love writing for them on a weekly basis. So I got a chance to really explore and talk about this topic on the national front too. Because there's so much to be said. And I enjoyed going, talking on British radio. The UK and me, I've been on British radio a lot. I had a conversation about Adele a couple of months ago that popped off and they had me on all the different, shows and channels. I'm enjoying, the UK. I mean, the Brits are a little spicy. Americans are too, clearly. But they're a different type of spice. I mean, they're just, listen, they get in them comments, man. They start, I mean, they're interesting. But, it's comes with the job. So, just shout out to everyone who was talking and hype about a lot of the work around the family. What I didn't get a chance to talk about in a special episode because there was a little bit talked about, but now there's updates. So let's just say this and get this out the way. Fuck Piers Morgan. Okay, like a man, and this is of course Women's History Month. Of course, Piers Morgan, not Pierce Brosnan. He's a better man and definitely not the same man I'm talking about. Piers Morgan, who basically looks like an asshole in real life, in real time, pretty much was coming for Meghan Markle's neck. And I remember hearing some tea a while back about he had a grudge against her, but I don't follow him because he's an idiot. And he's been problematic for a long time. Okay, so before I set this up, Piers Morgan has been a problem for a long time. He used to have a show on CNN. Remember Piers Morgan Live? I remember that time he interviewed Beyonce back in 2011, which was 10 years ago when 4 came out. She was about to turn 30. Oh my God, that was 10 years ago? What the hell? I was 20? Or I was 19 actually, about to turn 20. Good God. But anywho, both myself and Beyonce have aged well. But a decade ago, he had a show on CNN called, I think it was Piers Morgan Live. And he, had a little reputation. And then that kind of fell out. But he's always been a problem. He's always taunted people and said stupid shit. I remember one time he was saying something crazy about Ariana Grande. And he just always has sexist takes, racist takes, always on the wrong side of history. But he, got back to where he came from, which was the UK. Was a big lead host on the show Good Morning Britain, which is nothing like Good Morning America, but I don't think they're trying to be. I think they're a little bit more newsy, but they're a little bit more, they get a little ratchet on there, the way that they take their talent, quote unquote. But Piers Morgan was on there and he just kept going in on Meghan Markle, calling her a liar, dismissing her mental health concerns, just being a total idiot. And I was just saying to myself, this is a little aggressive. This is a little too much. This is a little too much. And he was acting like he was trying to support the queen. But this ain't supporting the queen. This is not how you support the queen. He just was, that provocativeness will only get you so far. It will only get you so far. And there's a lot of people out here who's so pressed to be provocative and get so much attention. And I was just like, something about this is not adding up. That was my stance on it. Something about how he's going about this is just not adding up. So there's a lot of things that was going on today. And one of the things that kind of came out was that he, at one point in time, tried to talk to her. I was like, Meghan, what's with you and these crazy white men? Well, not that Harry's crazy, but Harry, But she got a thing for white British men. I don't know. But Meghan Markle apparently stood him up. And this he confessed years ago on audio. But shout out to the black women who is dragging his ass and that male co-host who just said, you know what, I've had enough of your shit. Like how you're coming at her is unfair. It's not right. I mean, he just stood up for Meghan Markle on this show, this anchor. And Piers Morgan walks off the stage. Okay, he walks off the set. Okay, doesn't want to address it. Oh, what a snowflake. I mean, this guy sits up, talk all this shit, but you couldn't sit up there and hold your own, but you're just going to get up and leave. See, that's how they do. That's how white men and their fragility work. You get them to fuck together. They cannot take the heat and have to go. But everybody else has to deal with it, right? So all these black women who was on that show telling him about himself, Trisha was one of them, this wonderful doctor. They were both criticizing him and talking about the history of racism in the British throne. And he just was sitting up there dismissing them and acting, just being a total ass. And all this time, he was a bitter asshole. Bitter. Very bitter. He looks bitter. Okay? It shouldn't even be Piers Morgan. It should be Piers Bitter. Okay? Piers Bitter is what his name should really be. But basically, long story short, of course he had a personal axe to grind. And it's so funny that the most racist white man be the one with the nastiest black fetishes. They always do. I mean, let's be real. There's a lot of men out here, these type of men that talk and trash black women and act racist, but low-key want them. So basically, he was lusting after Meghan Markle. She did not want to give him any play or any attention whatsoever. She curved him, and basically, he couldn't take that rejection. He felt some type of way, and he used this opportunity because, a better-looking man, because Harry looks better than Piers Morgan, not my type, but looks way better than him. I can see that, right? And she dumps him for a dirty ginger. Well, they even dump him because they never had anything to begin with. But he was bitter. And to me, if we're talking a journalistic tip, he should have put that disclaimer. Disclaimer, I tried to holler at her. She wasn't interested. Now I'm pissed. And they should excuse him from talking about this situation because he was seeking a romantic relationship with a woman who it was not reciprocal. And so now he wants to target her in this way. And it's bad. So Miss Markle, okay, Miss Markle, Mrs. Duchess, she, along with 44,000 other people across Europe, filed complaints to the, what I would say the comparison to what would be the British FCC. So, in the United States, we have the FCC, which is the Federal Communications Commission that basically regulates everything on the airwaves, except for this show, because this is independently owned. But, national TV, national syndications, if there's complaints about issues, the ones who targeted, Janet Jackson for Nipplegate and left Justin Timberlake, alongside, right? This group, they're very much so basically had thousands of complaints about Piers Morgan's tirades against Markle. And so this is what was driving a lot of people being upset to the point that Good Morning Britain was like, what's up? And he decided to chunk deuces, aka he got booted. But, basically Piers Morgan is no longer at Good Morning Britain. And I think his career is soiled. I mean, he might get some left-wing conservative group that might take his ass on. But let's keep it 100. This is not a good look for him. And I mean, it's bittersweet. I'm happy that people gave a fuck. And shout out to Oprah for always being the one snatching edges and leading the fight in the crusade. But he should have been gone a long time ago. But if this is what has to take his ass on, okay, fine. Fine, we'll take it. But that being said, because there's so much that was spilling, is that the family, let's get into the royal family. Royal family put out a statement. The statement is so damn short that I can actually read it to you without feeling like I'm being long-winded, because that's how short the fucking statement was. So the royal family has finally, the queen, let me be clear, the queen has finally spoken. And she gave a statement out, and basically here it goes. The following is issued by Buckingham Palace on behalf of Her Majesty, the Queen. This was sent on Tuesday. The whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much loved family members. Statement ends. So, sometimes, I pull out my communication management lens on this. Proud USC recent grad of the master's program from one of the best damn communication schools in the world. I'm going to pull out my analysis because this is what I did with, Vanessa Bryant's drag of Meek Mill. This warrants us to do a dissection because it's pretty brief enough, but it's time to get into it. So let's get into it. Let's get into this situation. So for starters, okay, just keeping the consistency here. The whole family is saddened to learn the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. So let's back this up. The whole family is saddened to learn the full extent. Learn? Y'all didn't know this? Somebody in the family said it. Your motherfuckers knew that somebody in the family is racist. Now, my money on who thought that Archie did it, because let's be clear. We know, confirmed from Oprah, from Prince Harry, that it was not Prince Philip, which is the husband of the Queen, and that it was not the Queen. So that means the only people left in this saga would be technically Prince Charles, which is Prince Harry's father, who he does not have a good relationship with, or it could be Prince William and Kate Middleton, which is basically Prince Harry's brother. See, I got good at figuring out the family's bullshit. We're going to talk about another family member nobody is talking about, which could potentially be a suspect. We will not forget him. I got him on my list. So, y'all knew somebody in the family. This was a discussion. Y'all already knew about this. So what is this? We're saddened to learn the full extent. So that's how she covers her ass. So first, it's the learn part. Then they say full extent. So basically, the Queen is covering her ass. She's not telling you. She said full extent. So she probably knew about that already. But she didn't know everything else. Or maybe she didn't know the full extent. So this is good writing right here. This is some master writing right here. See, this is the communication side of me coming out. And I love it. So she's saddened to learn the whole family. And that's also strategic. The fact that even though it's coming from the Queen, she's like, I ain't going to leave my family under the bus. So I'm going to say the whole fucking family. I'm not going to name names because if I say, me and Prince Philip, a.k.a. me and my husband, then they're looking like, well, what about Charles and William though? What about Kate, who made Meghan cry? What about her ass? So she said, fuck that. The whole family. Try to poke a hole in that. You can't poke a hole in it because it's the whole. So the whole family is saddened. And saddened is a great word to use. Saddened implies that they're not shocked. Because see, that shocked word will have you looking like, wait a minute. So are you trying to pretend you don't know what the fuck is going on? Saddened is giving emotion for me. It is giving, a level of maybe potentially empathy. So these words matter. So she said the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been. Now, hold up, girl. Hold up, Queen. Sorry, Queen. How challenging? Challenging? That's how you want to describe this? I'm sorry. Meghan Markle tried to kill herself. She was considering suicide. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. That's not challenging. That shit is miserable. They were miserable in the UK. They were miserable. So really, this to say, the whole family is saddened to, I'll let her say, to learn the full extent of how miserable the last few years have been. Not challenging. Challenging makes this shit sound like, you guys were dealing with stress that wasn't your own. No. Misery. So we're going to keep going through. Next graph, which is pretty much the issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. Fair, we'll take it. Fair, we'll take it. She specifically noted race. Kudos to that. Could have said particularly racism, but she minced her words. But Brownie points to saying the issue raised and noting that race was particularly concerning, right? Like she singles out, like, I know what y'all here for. Y'all want me to talk about the Archie skin color situation. Let's talk about that, right? She addresses that. So, okay, not bad. We'll take it. So then she does, while some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Okay, hold on now. Let's start with that first part, the setup of this. While some recollections may vary, That's shade. Sorry, it's shade. What she's trying to say is, well, that ain't how I saw it. It's her way of saying, well, I don't know about all that. Even though that's not how we perceived it, we're going to take this seriously nonetheless. That was her way of clouding and muddling the flames in the fire, right? She's like, listen, just in case you thought listen, I'm going to get my framing right. I'm sorry what happened to them. I'm sorry to have heard this. I'm sorry this had happened to you. I'm sorry I heard this happen. She set this up right. She says, now, although I don't recall these things, and that's fair because there are situations where I have had to, let me tell you something, not mad at her with it because I've had situations where people have come up to me and said, oh, we were at an event and you said this or you gave me this kind of energy or, I felt some type of way about this, that, and the third. I've been in situations like that. And I've had to say things like, you're on that tightrope where you're like, okay, I don't want to dismiss your feelings because that's not important because how you feel is more important. I mean, are we going to argue the facts and the details? Some situations may not require that because remember, we're not on trial. I don't think they're on trial in this situation at this moment, but it's like sometimes you have to just say, listen, although I don't recall that happening or I don't recall it happening like that, I'm sorry if that did happen. I've been in situations like that all the time. Well, not all the time. I'm not always in shit like that, but I've been in situations where I could recall like, oh, someone said, oh, we were at a party, you were drunk, you were mean. And this is when I was in college. Like, oh, I remember you was at a party and you said this or you did this. Or I remember we was at this event and, I felt like you was throwing shade at me or something. And I'm sitting there looking like, shade? Did I throw shade? Did you take it that way? Girl, I didn't mean it like that. But in that moment, sometimes you just want to be empathetic. You just want to say, listen, I'm not going to confirm anything that I don't think I did or I knew I didn't do, right? You don't want to ever, like, I believe in that. Like, you don't take ownership for something you didn't do if you know that's not what went down. But how do you say that without calling a person a liar if your intention is to move on from the situation, to resolve the situation? And so in certain cases, the classic old school way, which is what the queen did here, which is old school, my mother taught me this, is that you say something like, something, I mean, classic. While some recollections may vary, old school. I wouldn't say like that. I may say something like, although, I don't recall that or I don't remember that taking place or I don't remember that happening, I do apologize or I will definitely look into that or thank you for sharing that with me. Something of that nature to make sure that situation is somewhat, you're appearing to be somewhat, considerate about it. If you want to handle it with some level of delicacy. So when she says, while some recollections may vary, she's framing it that way, right? Like she said, look, while some people are saying that's not true, we're not going to get into all that. She says they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. So she's letting you motherfuckers know right here, we know, we heard, we take this seriously, now go fuck off. That's pretty much what she's telling everybody. Like, this is a family issue. Now y'all can go away. Mind your business. And then she ends by saying Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much loved family members. She makes it a point to include Archie in that. She could have just said, the Markle, Prince and his wife or what. The fact that she said Archie, she named Archie, was to let people know, I see you. I see him. We see him. He's a part of the family. We're not worried about his dark skin complexion. Lies. But made it a point to really do the most. Now, recently, and here is the... So back off real quick. I give it a B. I'm going to give it a B. It's a B. It's a B. It's not an A. It's a B. She hits the most points. Some of that language is a little pushy, a little shady, but I'll give it a B in its efficacy, in my opinion. Now, some people didn't like it, but I think for what she's dealing with, she gave enough, right? She could have said she's launching an investigation, but I think her goal was not to raise more questions, give more answers and less questions. I don't have too many questions from the statement. I mean, unless I'm picking, but I think she kind of, closes it up a bunch to cover her ass. So we're going to give it a B. The statement gets a B. Interesting enough, there's been photos now of Prince Charles, who is, again, Prince Harry's father, who's been making it a point to take pictures with black people. His social media account since the Oprah interview has had him in a bunch of photos with black people. And people have noticed it immediately, and it was like, look at me touching their hands. Look at me touching my subjects, my royal black subjects. Look at them. Look at them smile at me when they see me in a room. I'm that man, you know. I feel like it was a flex. It was a clear flex. He's trying to cover his ass. It makes sense why he would try to cover his ass. Listen. I mean, at the same time, call your son. Have a conversation with your child. Maybe you wouldn't be having these issues. Stop cutting him off from the food chain of money. And they had to use Diana's money. And you over there with Camilla with that hoe. So, you know. So before I move on from the royal family, because, you know, it's so much we could talk about with that. And then look at me becoming a royal expert all of a sudden. Can we talk about Prince Andrew? And how all this drama around, you know, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. And nobody's sitting around talking about, you know, Prince Andrew ass. Y'all know Prince Andrew, the one who had to like step down from royal duties because his ass is a pedophile. His ass was connected to Jeffrey Epstein. You know, and Jeffrey Epstein, the one who killed himself after being exposed as a pedophile. The one who was locked up. Yeah, that Jeffrey Epstein. The one who was big homies with Prince Andrew. Yes. The one who took pictures with Trump and, you know, hung out with Bill Clinton on trips and shit. And a lot of people, okay, across the party aisles, across the Atlantic, clearly, you know Mr. Epstein. So no one's talking about Andrew, though. Everybody's just going to leave Andrew out. And the people don't know who Prince Andrew is. He is also, he is the son of the Queen. So this is Prince Charles's brother. And if you watch The Queen, season 4, they was hinting at how Prince Andrew was a mess. I keep saying Prince Andrews, I guess. Prince Andrew. How Prince Andrew was a mess. It was hinted. He was very much so ambitious and adventurous. And, you know, back in the day, like in the early 90s and 80s, you know, people were really interested in Prince Andrew. Like, he was very, you know, seemed to be very lively compared to his other brother. Prince Charles was very nerdish and nerdy and also had a little secret sex life, you know, between Camilla and Diana and his little shit. But it was really, at the time, okay, Prince Andrew was that dude. Like, he was the cool guy, dating the fashion models and the actresses. I mean, he had a reputation. But behind closed doors, he was a creep. And it just says a lot that, you know, people go from one end to the next. So, fuck him. And the family need to say something about his ass. But I guess they're trying to keep that. They ashamed. The Queen is embarrassed, okay? She's like, my son is a creep. Fuck. So she getting hit hard, okay? Now, grandson in trouble. It's a lot. Now, of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention this news. Oh, cheers. The Democrats did it. We did it, Joe. We did it. We did it, Joe. We did it. The Dems, okay? 1.9 trillion COVID relief bill passes final House hurdle. The American Rescue Plan is now going to be sent to Joe Biden. He is going to sign it. He's probably signed it by now, the time you listen to it. We about to get paid! Okay. Some of us will. $80,000. If you get less, you get 80 or less, you're going to get $1,400. Okay. I'm so happy right now because somebody in this house, like, Barry and I are not married yet, so our incomes are not combined yet, so we could, you know, we're going to be quiet, but we might be able to pull this off. I think I'm going to get a check. He's going to get a check. I think they're going to consider Latin. We're going to figure this out, but somebody's going to get some money in this house. Somebody's going to get some money. Shit, we got weddings to pay for. It could be $2,800. Let me stop. I'm just trying to add the money up in my head. I don't think I qualify. Fuck. I may not, but he might. I don't know. We'll see. But we got to get some money in this house. Because we you know, I'm trying. Every time I see this money coming, you know, like, I didn't even get the 600 last time. I don't even think, I'm getting annoyed. Let me just say this. But somebody in this house got to get some money. So I think we might be able to pull it off. That $1,400 will come handy for the wedding. If I get it, I don't think I qualify. But he do. And I think that will work because our incomes are not joint yet because we're not married. And we don't have any kids. But I'm getting worried now because if we start getting married, I mean, I think we're going to stop being able to qualify for some of this stuff. And that's first world problems because that means that we don't need this. That it goes to people. But still, I mean, it's the government, for crying out loud. They should be giving everybody money. Um, so um, this is a big deal. And not only did they work out, I mean, first of all, I'm a bitch session real quick. $15 minimum wage should have happened. I'm mad about that. I'm mad about that. I'm mad about that. We should have had the $15 minimum wage. But listen, and also let's not talk about the student debt, okay? Free my homies. They got student debt, okay? That little I don't even think they got the $10,000 thing situated. But like, he got to do something about the student debt situation. So that was, But we'll take this. We'll take this. This is progress, okay? Because now some businesses about to get some support. People are about to get some resources. This is a big fucking deal. This is like one of the biggest, debt relief packages in American history. I mean, this is history right now, okay? Sweeping, okay? They voted down the party line, honey, nearly, right? It was 220 in the House of Representatives. It was 220 to 211. Not one Republican supported it. Just a lone Democrat, okay? Okay, Jared Golden, who was, okay, I suppose he was in Minnesota, okay, joined him in opposition. So Rep. Jared Golden did not support it. Child, fuck you. Okay, but the American Rescue Plan is basically he's going to sign it. Apparently he's going to sign it on Friday. So for those people, it's not signed yet, but it's coming. These checks are coming. It's a big deal. It was a lot of shaking and fighting, but we got it done. The Republicans did not support it in the House. Okay, they were mad. But see, this is why I tell people, elections matter. And yes, they're not the only thing that's supported about democracy, okay? Because we have to protest, we have to demonstrate, we have to boycott, we have to write, we have to read, we have to do journalism, we have to do all of the things in the First Amendment. But let me be very clear. This is why voting matters. Because in these moments, right, when you have these ties and shit, these are the things that we remember. Because if the Democrats did not have the House, this budget would have not passed. If they did not have the Senate, this would have not, been up for grabs. You got to vote straight the party line. A lot of this tiebreaker is going to be Kamala. I cannot wait until 2022 so that hopefully there is more Democrats in the Senate so that people like Joe Manchin or whomever will not be holding us up. And some of these people are about to retire. Okay, so that's getting exciting. Some of these Republicans are going to retire. Now let's talk about one Republican that is being speculated, and you probably know the senator because he's my favorite senator to talk about on this show. Not that I like him personally, but I've studied a lot about him, and I can't keep his name out my mouth. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. There's speculation that he might retire. And a lot of it has to do with the drama that's going on. I mean, first of all, did you hear about his wife, Elaine, who used to be over there, in Trump's cabinet? Investigations about how she spent money a certain kind of way. Plus, Trump hates his guts, and he's bucked against Trump. And Trump is out here on a crusade to start running people against people. So there's a lot. He's coming for the senators. He's like on some love and hip hop. I got some get back for Cardi Red type energy. Okay, that is the energy Trump is giving right now, and it is no joke. And so I want to be very clear to everybody involved, people that's affiliated, people that's questioning where they stand on these issues or how they feel about the whole drama and beef between him and all these Democrats. It's serious. Like, this is no joke, y'all. Like, this is listen. There's opportunities for Democrats to win the Senate. People are questioning it. But these relief packages, I mean, the vaccinations, and we're going to talk all about these vaccinations, but there's a lot of promise. I mean, things are moving. I mean, listen, I know there's issues, and there's tons of issues, and there's consistent issues that need to get addressed. But on a national level, we're going to see a big fucking boom. I'm seeing a big economic boom. We're about to hit the roaring 20s in a different way. I think that businesses are going to boom. I think the economy is going to go up in a way that's crazy. Not in the kind of GameStop shit, scammy shit. I'm talking like folks are going to be spending money fast. When these businesses are opening up, these advertisement dollars are coming. Folks are trying to invest heavy. And there's a lot of people that's going to have relief money to throw out, and to invest. Businesses are going to have money to invest in getting the word out. People are going to want to go out to eat. People want to go out to eat. Now, mind you, I've been going out to eat throughout the pandemic, but not as much as I used to. Like, it's always a treat to like go out. I mean, I can count how many times I go out to restaurants now. I mean, like in Philly, like maybe 2 times a month, maybe three if you're nasty, but 2 times a month, I've been like, I will go out to eat. It's like a treat now. Barry and I used to go out to eat every week. Every week. Always a date night. Always a Friday. In our earlier years, we used to go out Friday and Saturday. But that was when we, then I had to, we didn't have, other projects. We were in college, and so we had all this disposable income. We still do, kind of. But, we had, we were just, and also where we were going out to eat was less expensive. We were, going to Olive Garden. Don't judge me. Fuck it. I was like, well, I was 22. I should have known better. But we would go to Olive Garden because I've talked about this before. He was a vegetarian. He's not anymore. He is a full-fledged carnivore. But he was a vegetarian when we were in college. And so we could only agree on restaurants like Olive Garden and Italian restaurants because, that was the place where you could get good food and you didn't feel like a vegetarian in those places. Because, some restaurants, you go to Del Fresco's, which we learned the hard way. We went to Del Fresco's on a date when we started going out to really, really nice restaurants. And this was when we were undergrad, actually. He was a freshman, I was a senior. And so we went out and I got a steak, which was delicious. It was a good steak. And there was nothing on the menu that did not have meat. That was a full course dish. So they had to give him a penne pasta dish. And let me tell you something. I was so pissed when I saw that bill. The penne pasta, okay, and this was just regular plain ass noodles and cheese. I guess they put truffle, whatever. I don't know what the hell it was. That shit was $50. $50 for a plate of pasta with no meat, okay? No salmon, no shrimp, nothing. I was angry. I think that was a moment in my head. I was like, you know what? We're going to have a problem. We can't not go to these nice steak houses and we spending steak prices for pasta. And they don't even specialize in pasta like that. So I was so annoyed. And, the good thing is he's now a carnivore. And folks who are vegetarians might say something about that. I feel some type of way. Listen, it is what it is. But no, we've, since then, our lives have changed. We've made more money. We do more things. So now we go out to really nice restaurants all the time. And so we would go Friday, Saturday was our day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is a great restaurant. But we would go out to eat on Friday and Saturday. And the dinner was fabulous, and we used to pick places, and we used to love a brunch on Sunday. That was our thing. It was Friday dinner, Saturday dinner, Sunday brunch. We used to love to eat out. And now I've since the pandemic, we haven't been able to as much because of the pandemic. So we now go out maybe twice a month because there's a lot of good restaurants that we like that have either closed down, R.I.P. Res Ipsa, R.I.P. And then there's been restaurants that, just have not opened. So the only restaurants that we really love, which has been Zahav, which is one of my favorite restaurants. Mike Solomov is a genius. It's been hard to get a reservation at Vernick. Look at me sounding off. Okay, but let me just say this. I'm happy about one thing about restaurant going out for foodies, avid foodies for really nice restaurants. It used to be a 3-month wait to get to Zahav. Now it's no crate. I mean, there's still reservations are picking up now, but I went to Zahav 4 times in 2020. Most people, if they want to go to Zahav, it will probably be one time and one time only because you couldn't get a reservation that far in. So I'm just so happy that some of these really high-end restaurants that was hard to get into, some of them that were just really popular, the pandemic allowed for that there to be an equity for people to have the opportunity. And actually, even more interesting, I feel like it's not even about the food being super pricey. They've made prefix menus. They've found ways to make it more affordable and, make it more creative. And so I've appreciated that too. So, cause I love a good prefix menu. I love to go into a restaurant and can add up the prices in my head. Be able to know, okay, this is a so-and-so range. This is a blah, blah, blah range. And prefix menus help do that. If a restaurant can really do a prefix menu. Some restaurants, you don't have to do a prefix menu because pretty much you can add, every entree spells out a certain range. But some restaurants, listen, without the prefix, you're scattered all over the place. You don't know, especially really nice restaurants, they'll fuck around with you with, oh, this is this pot of noodles. You're like, oh my God, it's $20. So you're thinking, okay, that's an entree price. Man, they bring that shit out, small plates, but these are big ass prices. Fuck out of here. That's some of the stuff that happens at restaurants. But a prefix menu, I feel like they're intended to make you full. So here's our spread, here's the price, and you can't complain because normally you're gonna get some dessert, you're gonna get everything in it. So I always tell people that go to places like Soraya and folks like that, get the prefix menu. Don't play with yourself. get the prefix menu. Don't, and you might look at it and cringe, but when you buy it off of the entrees individually, that shit adds the fuck up. So if you can get a prefix menu, please do it. I highly recommend it. I promise you, the restaurant will love you for it because they love to like have a routine. You will appreciate it because you will be full most of the time. You will be full. You will have the taste. You will get every like flavor you're trying to get. And you will walk out happy that you got a more affordable situation than trying to get piecemeal. You won't be happy piecemeal. Every time, years ago, before I was with Barry, I went on a date with this guy, and I was looking at this prefix menu, and he was trying to just do it himself, because I think in his head he thought the prefix menu was more. And I was like, dude, get the fucking prefix menu. And he was like, oh, well, I just want the steak. I don't need the I don't need that. He started adding the price up. Every time, it was always either a tie or over the prefix menu price. And mind you, his side of adding up did not include dessert or even appetizer at some point. So I was like, man, get the fucking prefix menu. But I'm happy that I'm with a man who gets the prefix menu, doesn't not argue about it, because he's very indecisive. So he just says, look, fuck it. We'll do the chef's tasting. Whatever the chef says, I'll take it. And that's what we do. So about restaurants and I don't even know where we was going with that. But like, yes. That brings me to my larger point. Vaccinations. So the new CDC guidelines are coming out. People are filling them. I'm super excited about them, to be honest. I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it. So now CDC says that if you are fully vaccinated and the people you're hanging out with are fully vaccinated, you can have small gatherings. You don't have to wear a mask. Hallelujah. 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 So happy. So happy. I mean, granted, I was already kind of doing that, but I had like a small group, and it was like my closest friends. But what that means for the rest of us is that means that we're coming to a point where we're getting there. We're not fully there, but we're getting there. And I mean, Texas and Mississippi is fucking up, but we're getting somewhere right now. And that's not to say that the COVID is not fucking it up. But what that says is that the people that are on the sidelines that can get this vaccination, okay, get it. Because there's now results. There's results. If everybody gets vaccinated, the faster we get to where we're going. I mean, I'm hearing thousands are getting vaccinated in Philadelphia. I'm at a point where I'm thinking more people are getting vaccinated than getting COVID in certain parts of the country. And that is good. And so we're getting there. We're getting there. And we're getting there right on time because we battled this winter and now this spring is great. And you know what? We would have been here faster if it wasn't for fucking Donald Trump. But he's not here anymore and people are getting saved, and thank God for it. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is rolling out. It's a one-time, one-stop shop. Get it here, get shot, you're done. There's no first doses, second doses. I'm not a doctor. I can't prescribe what people should get. I'm not telling you what you're getting. I got the Moderna because I want to support a black woman's creation. I want to say that I got a vaccination by black women. That was my personal preference. Personally, and this is me talking personally, I like the first dose, second dose situation because I just like the idea of like feeling like it made me feel more full or gave me an opportunity to like, wane it out. But Johnson & Johnson is highly effective as well. And it will do all of that with one shot. And so you don't have to go back. And for people who are scared of needles and all that, get the Johnson & Johnson one if you're scared of needles. And if you're someone who just don't have a predictable schedule. In certain cases, there are some people who cannot, for a lot of essential workers, they don't have the ability to keep taking multiple days off to get shot. So you got to take one shot, you got to come back. They look, I got to get it now. If I got to get over the weekend, that's it. Like they can't control their schedules. So sometimes there's people you can only reach out and touch one time. And so the Johnson & Johnson vaccination, I think, is that vaccination. But of course, it's not, I don't think it's enough right now, but I know there's like a push for like 100 million of those and $100 million and stuff, money going. So it's crazy. It's a lot of, Biden is really bolstering the push for it. And it's coming. And it's a collaboration with Mercer, which was a competitor of Johnson and Johnson. So, listen, folks are out here doing a thing. I'm happy for them. I think, there's a lot of stuff that is making this promising. But like one of the stories that I broke this week, and people know I've been following the Black Doctors Consortium, the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium, or as I've been writing in articles describe it, BDCC. So that's the abbreviation, BDCC. And that's the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium, which is led by a woman named Dr. Ayla Stanford, who's been doing an incredible job with these Black doctors and physicians who are out here making sure people's lives are safe. They're testing people for COVID. They're giving people vaccinations. They're saving the fucking world. So in my story, I revealed and really, really amplified this fact that a lot of people did not know. They have not received their clinics have not received any funding from the city. You heard that right. They've outpaced the city in vaccinating Black people, which there are more Black people in Philadelphia than any other racial group. And yet, in spite of that, they have done that without getting a single dime from the city of Philadelphia. Yes, the city who gave a contract to Philly Fighting COVID. The ones who fucked up the vaccination rollout with their antics, and the city had to revoke and rescind that damn contract. Yes. And so what comes out of my story is pretty much that after that fuck up, there were RFPs that were sending requests for proposals that were being sent out for these groups to get funding. And that rollout got fucked over because the vetting was fucked over. There have been city, solicitors and people have looked into it that said that the city failed to vet and that they fucked up, but there's no punishments being rendered to them. How interesting. So we acknowledge the city fucked up. They were wrong for what they did, but there's no punishment because the vetting process was messed up. There was too much failure. The deputy health director had to resign after it came out that she was pretty much, advising Philly Fighting COVID on this contract. So that's very telling. It all came out. And she had to resign, this person. So it's very telling that all this was going on. And honestly, we all knew this. It was like a no shit Sherlock moment. Really? A problem with race. A problem with contracts in the city around race. Interesting. But what's been frustrating, and I think this is something that people need to understand, what's been really frustrating about this process is that that the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium have applied. They've sent an FRP for funding, and they haven't gotten word back from the city. The city told them that they received the money. Received the proposal, but that's it. They haven't given them a deadline on when they're going to give them the money. And what came out of my story is that the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium has been doing a lot of fucking work around this. They have been busting their ass consistently, doing all of this labor, trying to get support, trying to get the public's attention, trying to, deal with these lines. And there's been a lot of people in the press and people complaining about these lines. And I'm sorry, let me just say this. Shut the fuck up. If you got vaccinated, if you got your vaccine, if you got it, shut up. Shut up. Let me be clear. Shut up on complaining about what they are doing. There's a lot of anti-Blackness and ungratefulness and just pettiness that Philly can sometimes have when it comes to people like essential workers like Dr. Ayla Stanford. There's a lot of that I'm getting from some of these whiny ass complaints and bitching about some of this stuff. And a lot of this to me just comes off as people being so entitled. I'm very sick of it. I'm really fucking sick of it. I'm really tired of some of these restaurant owners, not all of them, but some of them that really act like they're at the center of the universe. There are people out here who are really struggling. And I'm not saying that these restaurants aren't struggling, but please, with all due respect, understand that everybody's feeling this shit except for the government. And that your restaurant that gives people food, when people are out here trying to provide lives, right? That you get money, right? You can get city money, okay? Some of that money. These people aren't getting any fucking city money. And they're trying to save all of us. So if you please, just shut the fuck up on this, just please, for the rest of us who really need this organization to thrive, because we understand the power, okay, of black organizations being targeted. There are white people that think, oh, I can complain about this and it's not about race. It is fucking about race. You can keep your opinions to yourself. If you got vaccinated by another organization, good fucking for you. And you can go sit down somewhere and shut up for the rest of us. But this is an important organization that is doing work that is thankless work, that is work that is necessary and essential. And to the white people specifically that are complaining about this, go fucking somewhere else. Okay? Because it's not like you're not going to Rite Aid, and 88%, like 81% of you all are getting vaccinations in black communities like Rite Aid at pharmacies when you're outpacing them. It's not like you're coming from other suburbs and taking up vaccine. Shut up. Seriously. And some of you all are getting vaccines from other places that are providing it for you. Congratulations. Because the black people that was in that line waiting for that vaccine that's in North Philly and places like that, they don't have an alternative. They don't have another group that's going to give them something that your ass could get somewhere else. Sit down and shut up. And I really mean it. It really pisses me off. Like, I'm really pissed off right now. Because it's just, I see some of these Facebook posts and I see these comments and I feel for them because those people are doing so fucking important work. They're vaccinating thousands of people. The Vaxathon was an important moment in Philadelphia. And it was an important moment in the black community because 4,000 people got vaccinated over a weekend within 24 hours. And most of those people are black. And we're dying at exponential rates in this city. And we don't get any support or any resources. And so I hear a lot of these white privileged folks, and yes, mind you, they're going through shit too. We're all going through shit. But the shit that we're going through is at a higher level. And to hear people criticize and bash this black clinic because they can't fucking so they felt like they couldn't wait too long. Whatever. It was black women and black people in this community, black voters, that waited in long lines to save you all from a fucking white supremacist that was going to kill us all. Okay? And we didn't complain about that. Black people were not complaining in long lines to vote to save this country from its fucking self. So back off. Seriously, back the fuck off. Get a grip. Get a life. And stop complaining. If you got vaccinated, congratulations. If you didn't get vaccinated by the BDCC, okay. Did you get vaccinated though? Did you find an alternative? Wonderful. Now shut the fuck up because you didn't pay for it. You didn't. And understand that while you're complaining, someone died from COVID that day. Someone got COVID and is probably going to get a health condition that your ass probably have not gotten. And that person didn't get the access to the vaccine in time. So for the people out here that want to complain about how they waited in long lines, shut the fuck up. I've lost people who didn't get access to the vaccine, who didn't get a chance to wait in a line. They would love to wait in a line in the cold if that meant they was going to get their life. Care about this. We done waited in lines for fucking iPhones and fucking Popeye's chicken sandwiches and cheesesteaks from terrible places in Philly, right? But you want to complain. This is a city that wait in lines and get in long crowds for fucking eagles. But you want to complain about a vaccination clinic, a black vaccination clinic. Check your fucking privilege. Seriously. Okay, moving along. Seriously, I cannot with it. And I see people on Facebook and just Twitter just complain. And listen, I like to complain like the next person, but I'm not going to complain on a group of people that are saving fucking lives. Respect our essential workers. You're not the only essential workers out here. Bartenders and restaurant people. You're not the only essential workers. Congratulations. You make us meals and food. That's important. But right now, what those people are doing, right? They're putting their lives at risk. Okay? They're dealing with a city that's not giving them the money and the resources. You want to be mad? Be mad at the city. Be mad at the city. The city is not providing them the security, the blocked roads, and the things they need to be able to do this. So there was somebody I saw, and I want to, shout out this person. was a white guy who actually posted in a Facebook group, and I'm not going to name him, but he made a really good point. He said, and this really was just was just exactly perfect. He said, I was there on a Saturday, arrived at 10:30 a.m. or so, and was there until after midnight. There was a fire, at least one fight, and a couple of arguments. Toward the end, there was damn near a stampede of people rushing to get through the doors. Inside, though, once I finally got inside, my God, it was a smooth operation. Whole thing didn't take but about 30 minutes, and half of that was waiting to see if I'd have a adverse reaction. Bet your ass these people got money from me afterward. There were so many people there. Desperation created that havoc. They had the best they could with what they had, and the way they handled conflict when it arose was admirable. These folks are doing what the city wants, and we should support them to the fullest extent we can. That's what being a comrade looks like. That's what allyship looks like, for what it's worth. That's what showing up and shutting the fuck up and checking your privilege and acknowledging that we're all in this together. We're all trying to get to that place of herd immunity, that place of full vaccination, that place of real progress. So shout out to that person for that. All right, moving along. Speaking of people and things, culture vultures. Yo, okay, is it just me? But I really thought, I was like, I wasn't gonna talk about this last week, but then I was like, wow, it's a pattern. So, people, Jay-Z sold Tidal, and he sold it to some company or whatever. He's now sold it. He's made an acquisition deal. Pretty much he's gonna still have some stake in it, but he sold it. And it's a lot of shade about it. People are talking about this transition, this acquisition, I guess. And a lot of people are feeling some type of way about it. And I feel some type of way about it. So Jay-Z's net worth has jumped by 40% following Tidal and Champagne brand sales. So he's been doing a lot of selling, y'all. And this is just I'm so disappointed. And then, of course, you probably heard the news too about Swiss Beats and his Swiss Beats and Timberland. They sold what's that? Oh yeah, Versus, right? The iconic Versus, right? So they're saying that he's now sold his controlling stake, and he's got upwards of $200 million. It's looking like, or 297 million, 215 pounds if you're British, if you're using euro, but 297 million. So he sold Tidal to Square, which is the mobile payments firm that is run by the Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey. So now, he sold it. Yeah, oh goodness. So let me back this up a little bit. So last week it was revealed that Jay-Z sold his controlling stake in the streaming title service Tidal. He sold it to Square. And y'all know Square, the place that, my barber, I've been telling my barber to get a Square, but now he uses Cash App. But basically Square is that cool company that is a mobile payments firm. And so it's being ran, of course, by Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey. And basically he sold it for $297 million. But he also sold 50% of his luxury champagne brand, which is Armand de Brac, okay, which he sold to the luxury goods company Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton. Damn, Moet, or I guess it was a Moet. Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton, I guess, is a luxury goods company. It's like a connection. Forbes now reports that the rapper's net worth has now increased from $1 billion to $1.4 billion. That money. So, he's a billionaire, a billionaire. Like now he's a billionaire. Like he had $1 billion, his net worth was $1 billion. And you know how that could go. It could just go up and down. But now he's $1.4 billion. So like now Jay-Z is to me officially a billionaire now. Because he's now past the $1 billion. Because sometimes, that's how I be feeling my followers. Like if I get 10,000 followers, I'm going to wait until I get like 10.1 thousand followers, because when you get that number on the spot, haters might try to unfriend or whatever, but you get over that 100, you get that 100 mark, that's when you can really claim it. So get me there, y'all. I'm close. I'm like about like now 9.9 thousand followers on Instagram. I'm talking about Instagram. I'm saying not Twitter. Twitter, I am like 24.5 thousand followers. So I need 500 more followers to get to 25,000. And I need about 100 more followers on Instagram to get to 10,000. Help! So, so petty. So that being said, Jay-Z's got money, man. He's got investments in Sweet Green, Uber, SpaceX, this life insurance startup called Ethos. You know, his Rock Nation imprint is valued at $140 million. Do Say the Cognac is $120 million. His music catalog is only worth $95 million. Really? Jay-Z's music catalog is only $95 million? Interesting. But I mean, you know, I wonder how much is Beyonce, his wife's. Then his art collection is worth $70 million, and his real estate property is worth $50 million. So, you know, he got some money. Billionaires. Billionaires. Black capitalists. So here's the issue. Tidal, the whole point of Tidal, right, was that he was running. See, Jay-Z is just, this is what Jay-Z do. Jay-Z, so I'm up on Jay-Z's bullshit at this point. I'm not really a fan of Jay-Z. I mean, Jay-Z used to be my favorite rapper. I think Kendrick is not my favorite rapper. But like, I just cannot with Jay-Z. Jay-Z very disappoints me. It's not his music, but just other shit around him. He just got so many problems. I'm just so problematic for so many reasons. I'm just not here for it. So here's the thing about what Jay-Z do, and this has been a pattern in him. Especially with this Tidal exam, this is a case study. Jay-Z loves to talk about support black owned, black business, black this, black that. Like he always does this flex about being a black business owner. But what Jay-Z do, and this is a textbook example, is that he gets a company, he hypes up the blackness of it, right? Like Tidal was like support black owned, don't shit on Tidal, even though I thought Tidal was trash when it came out. I wasn't a fan of Tidal. I don't have Tidal. My best friend Jamarcus loves Tidal. I'm like, how you feel about Tidal now, bruh? But like he likes Tidal. He's listening to this podcast. He probably laughing at me. He can't listen to my podcast on Tidal because my podcast is not on Tidal. Okay? I do not have my podcast. Who the fuck listens to Tidal? Tidal was so let me be clear. My bestie has a Sprint. We won't even get to all that. But he got a Sprint. And so Sprint owns Tidal. I mean, they not own it, but you get Tidal automatically. So he has it automatically. He doesn't have to pay a streaming bill. I personally wonder if they didn't force it on his damn phone, would he have gotten it? Because let me be clear, my streaming of choice, and y'all gonna laugh at me, but whatever, because I like it. It is what it is. I'm a Google Play girl, but now it's YouTube Music now, because they've now merged. So now it's like YouTube Music, and so I love that. I love the Gmail, Google Music situation. I've been on that forever. I never was an Apple Music person. I don't have an iPhone. Don't give a fuck about an iPhone. But love all of y'all listening to my podcast on your iPhones and your iPads, because I do have an iPad and I do have a MacBook Pro. That being said, though, I don't like have Apple Stream. I don't have an Apple Music account, and I don't really get it personally. I don't really care for it. I love what I have. And I love Google. I'm on Google Podcasts. I love it. Google Podcasts is popping. Podcasts used to be on Google Play, but now everybody's Google Podcasts is separate. And my shit is on Google Podcasts. But like I was never crazy about Tidal when it came out. I remember that big launch party. We had all the celebrities and they were trying to act like it's gonna be the wave of the future. And they were talking about like music being like the sound would be something high definition, something. They were playing around with words and fancy selling gadgets and shit to make you think listen, I don't know what my ears are doing, but I hear the fucking song. It sounds good. Get you some good earphones. I don't know. I get, sometimes you just have to realize the shit. Marketing schemes 101. Like, I mean, everybody hears differently. Everybody's ears are different sizes. You're not going to hear every song the same. I don't know. Let me stop. But like, I just feel like it's just something interesting about how they marketed Tidal. But I was never that much. I wasn't crazy about it. I had it for I had the free trial run. That's to do the student thing. I had it for like a couple months, but I just kind of fell off it. I didn't get it. And I just felt like I was good with my Google Play. And I love my Google subscription. I have the YouTube Music subscription. I love how it looks on my laptop. I love that it's connected to all my stuff. I love I can connect it to Gmail. The price is right. I love that I have commercial-free YouTube because I got the YouTube Red connected to it, the music videos. I like it. It's good for me. It does what it needs to do. I'm not all into all these thousands of subscriptions, even though Barry and I have had a conversation. Okay, Mr. Johnson, my fiance, and I have had to have a conversation about this whole what we doing with the streaming, because I'm the guy who likes to buy the bundle pack and just get it out the way for a year. I don't like the monthly subscription shit. Like, I wish that they could just sell stuff like get it like Disney Plus. I have, where I think I bought the package for like $79.99, like $80 basically. I just got there. I got a really good special. Then I got a discount one that I bought my brothers for Christmas, and it was like $50 or something. It was like some special deal, and I was like, yeah, I could do that. That's like one trip drop, and I got to worry about it for the entire year, and I could take advantage of the streaming opportunities. Was here for it. Loved it. Thought it was great. Other subscriptions don't do that. They make you have to do a monthly situation. I'm just like, y'all are doing too much. So we have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have Disney Plus, we have HBO Max. I do have HBO Max, and I like it. I like HBO. I have it. What else do I have? Yeah, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max. Am I missing anybody? Oh, and I have Xfinity for my Wi-Fi, and I have a Xfinity Stream, which is just general TV, basic TV and stuff. So I have that a part of my Wi-Fi bill. So that's it. Like, I'm not getting Peacock. I don't have Apple TV. This Paramount shit they're about to drop, don't care. Not getting it. Not getting it. You're doing too much. Because, like, I was telling my mom about this, and she was just like, yo, she's like, at this point, with all these streaming companies, they just gonna make you just get premium cable. Because I thought the whole point was to get this so that you didn't have to, so it'd be cheaper. I feel like all of these companies are creating their streaming companies, and none of them are comprehensive, and you're just at a point where you're like, you know what, this is way too much. So like, people say about YouTube TV. Hell no, I'm not getting YouTube TV. And I'm not getting Peacock. I don't care if The Office is on there. I don't care. My mom made a joke, and she's so right. She's like, just go ahead and just buy the fucking Office DVD. Like, buy it off of Amazon or something. If you're buy The Sopranos. Like, you're going to spend a monthly rate to basically have to get this stuff. Like, you can buy the digital set yourself. Spend that money if you're a big fan, rather than spend monthly amounts. Just buy, if you're a big fan of like The Sopranos or these TV shows, and that's the only reason why you have the app, that's stupid. Just buy it. Like we had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air DVD collection. We had the Jeffersons. We had some of these TV shows. We had the West Wing. We had all that stuff. Remember the days? This is the back in the day, because I can now say I'm a little 30. I'm about to be 30 now. Back in the day, we used to have the season box sets collections. Like, you would have DVD collections of the entire seasons, because, like, to avoid shit like this. So you're going to get a whole streaming package because they got one stupid ass show, and you're going to spend a monthly subscription to watch that sham show 1,000 times over. You could just buy the deluxe edition, or buy a box set, or get it off the internet and buy like a set rather than spend all that money. I mean, it's just stupid. But people have gotten so hooked to these streaming companies, that's what they're doing. But long story short, because I digress. Jay-Z sold Tidal, and, you know, he likes to do the whole black-owned businesses thing. So everybody's like, oh, I got to support it because it's black-owned. And then he raises the prices and raises the profile, right? And then what does he do? He sells it to the man. This time the man is Jack Dorsey. So now you done sold it. So now we don't have a black-owned, like, music streaming company, I think, or mainstream one now. So we're fucked. Thanks, Jay-Z. But, like, that's what Jay-Z always do. Look what he done with his liquor. He was promoting, like, Douce he's going to eventually sell Douce. And I like Douce. Douce is cool. With, you know, add some lemonade in there. It's kind of cool. A little bit of Amaretta. Make you a cute little, Amaretta sour. Enjoy yourself. But, again, he's going to probably sell Douce. So, like, what's the point? I thought this whole logic was to take, he has a $70 million art collection. What happened to taking businesses and passing it to your family, passing the generation? Like, I do not have any intentions on selling Ernestly Empire LLC. And part of why I said Ernestly Empire LLC is because it's got my name on it. Ernest, it's mine. Not selling it. I'm not selling my company. I'm not passing it. It's mine. And if I decide to have children, if we decide to have kids or whomever, it's a family business. It's going to be something that will continue. Goodness. Like, Rupert Murdoch ain't out here selling his stuff. I mean, probably selling some of his stuff. But, like, his sons run businesses, giving jobs. I mean, that was what we thought Jay-Z was doing. But Jay-Z's not doing that. Jay-Z has now mastered the savvy of being the back face behind a product before to raise the value because he knows the culture. See, that's the culture vulture aspect. He knows the culture wants to see these things. So we build it up. We hype it up. We build his value up. And then he sells it. That's what he do. And that's pretty much what happened here with Swiss Beats and Timberland. I knew they were eventually going to sell it out. So they're selling it to a company that is a rival to TikTok. And my whole thing is, you know what that means. And this is a white company. You know what that means. That means that, well, first of all, let me back this up to be fair. 43 performers have been a part of Beats. And apparently when they did this deal with equity involved in it, they're giving some shares of equity to those 43 performers so they can have a stake in the company. Okay. Cool. Whatever. Nice. But I remember, let me back this up. I remember the whole argument for Tidal was supposed to be this revolution that artists were going to get money and get their money, because these artists, they deserve their, I'm not even going to go there, but apparently there was going to be an equitable cutoff in this Tidal deal. Like they were going to get more money compared to other companies and shit. But that just kind of got real quiet really soon. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of, it was a little hype around it. It got real quiet. I remember like Kanye was trashing Tidal at one point. I mean, it was just very interesting. But I remember in the beginning, he had everybody involved in it. They had this like signing party. It was like a secret Illuminati gathering. And it was like Beyonce was there, of course. And Alicia Keys and Rihanna and Madonna and Kanye West and all these big figures were there to be a part of this experience. And like everybody was signing some declaration. It was a big old spectacle. And look what the fuck Jay-Z did. That's the industry for you. That's the music industry for you. And, I'm just bummed by it because I'm just like, this was an opportunity, y'all. This was an opportunity. But like even with Versus, what's going to happen in Versus. He's going to, they once this company gets Versus, they're going to gentrify it. So they didn't already had every black artist except Beyonce and Rihanna go against each other, right? Usher never had a Versus. So now they're going to diversify it. Next thing you know, it's going to be Justin Timberlake versus Bruno Mars, Britney Spears versus Christina, Katy Perry versus Gaga. Like you're going to see all of these white artists go against each other. And that's going to be Versus. They're going to gentrify it. Well, my whole thing is don't say Versus with a VERZUZ. Because that's the black way that it was done. You just need to go back to VS. Just call it VS because it's don't take the versus from us. Like just it's a lot, but we knew they were going to sell it, and I think their logic in their head is that now that people are starting, the pandemic's starting to calm down, but they could, let me back this up. Now that the pandemic is calming down, I think they're like the desire, the thirst for it is not going to be there as much because the whole art of it was that people were like stuck in the house and this was like live entertainment and experience. So that's what made Versus like iconic and earth shattering. Now, not that people, I'm seeing concerts and people, like I saw some people, Bow Wow had a packed concert a couple of weeks ago. Very disappointing. Terrence J, he's a little irrelevant now, had a party with no masks. Talking about, we survived Black Lives Matter, the pandemic. I said, this dumbass. But, this is the people are out there having clubs, packed clubs and parties. So I think, the Versus, it's, I don't want to say it played. I did enjoy the Maxwell and D'Angelo one, but I think that people are at a point where it's like, all right, we've seen enough. And they gave us the big ones. I'll never forget the Brandy versus Monica, the Gucci Mane versus, Jeezy the Snowman. Okay, Young Jeezy, which I like Young Jeezy. I admire his music. He's got talent. And then, you got the other artists out here that are doing their thing. Other ones that I can remember. Erykah Badu and Jill Scott, that was a really good one. I enjoyed that one. Even though Erykah Badu blocked me on Twitter because I critiqued her about her, defending R. Kelly. But, her music is great. I can't take that from her. But it's interesting. I got blocked by Erykah Badu, y'all. One of my famous blocks. I also got blocked by, Meghan McCain blocked me on Twitter. That's another famous block, Meghan McCain. For those who are asking, no, Justin Timberlake never blocked me. Justin Timberlake never blocked me on Twitter. I'm trying to think of other celebrities that have blocked me that matter. Yeah, those are the only ones that blocked me that are like interesting people that I could think of. I can't think of any other like major celebrities that blocked me. Yeah, those are the major two. Yeah, a couple other folks out there, but ciao. Erica Badu and Meghan McCain got something in common. They blocked me. So, so I don't know what the new verses is going to look like. Maybe maybe we won't care. I mean, I know it's going to get gentrified, and you know Timberland and Swiss Beats. They know they're going to get. We won't hear the last of this. There's going to be something stupid that's going to come out the woodwork, and I think they want to like detach themselves from it before it spilled over. But like, it's only so many of this that's going to last. But I don't know. I think the concept is good. I just felt like they were doing too much at one point in time. Like the Alicia. The Keisha Cole and Ashanti one was just such a drag. Not the music, but just like the fact that they sometimes I feel like they do too much in trying to like make these people be in person and trying to do all this. Like the Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle I love that one. That was sweet. But like some of these they just really want to put out a whole production and set, and it's like, guys, you're ruining the fun. It was fun when like you had Nelly and Ludacris, and Nelly's phone wasn't working despite the fact he's a millionaire and his stuff was being it was the fun of like that. Like they were in separate places, but they were trying to do big old showcases. And I'm like, that's just ruining the fun. I mean, I remember when that happened with one of the guys where they clowned him, Terry, who was out there, and they was coming for him because of the fact that he like was trying to have a whole concert. He was going against Babyface Edmonds and Teddy Wiley, not Terry, but Teddy Wiley was going against Babyface, and there was a versus, and Babyface was chill, cool as a cucumber, looking good, and just chilling and playing his hits. And Teddy Riley wanted to have a whole production and thing. I was like, what are you doing? And it's COVID, and this is obvious. These performers, they really did not care. And then people were getting COVID in their circle because I think Ashanti had got COVID, and it was a lot, man. So, we'll see what happens down the road with verses. But I'm just noticing a pattern that we get these big cultural moments for Black folks, and then the Black capitalists have to always try to sell it for $1, try to get money off of it. It's just like, can we have something? Can you all just stop trying to be fucking rich? I mean, how much money is enough money? Can you start giving some money out? Like real money out. Like real money, okay? And when you're a billionaire, $1 million don't mean shit when you have $1 billion. Give real fucking money. Like I think Goldman Sachs, which I don't support the banks and all that shit, but $10 billion to support Black women businesses. Now that's something. Moving along. So I just have to talk about this, y'all. What's up with these remakes? I'm over it. I'm over remakes. I'm over it. I'm over sequels too a little bit, but I'm over remakes. I'm hearing that the Powerpuff Girls, they're going to make a remake to the Powerpuff Girls. Yes, you heard it here. The Powerpuff Girls is getting a live action remake. They're going to put it on some TV show. Who asked for this? What is Mojo Jojo going to look like? And he better not be Black. I'm just going to get that out the way now. Mojo Jojo better not be Black. Y'all better save it for somebody else. Mojo Jojo better not be Black. You better not. Don't even fucking think about it. Don't do it. If you make a Black man or woman or any person of color a monkey in this damn production, I will listen. You're going to hear it from us. Us, the community. Okay? Because they look like they have two white women, and there's I think she's mixed race, but there's a Black actress who looks like she's of mixed ancestry that is also a part of this production. I'm just seeing a lot of remakes, and I'm just like, apparently Coming to America, they're going to do a Coming to America 3. Oh, why? Why? It was, look, I tell people, I think Coming to America was camp. All right, it was campy. And it was good for what it was. For some people. And some people they thought it was god awful, and that's a fair critique. I mean, Kenya Barris, right? And then I hear it was directed by a white man. Oh my God. It was a lot wrong with Coming to America. I'm sorry, Coming to the number two, because the first Coming to America I thought was more iconic and epic. But like I said before, I was born in 1991. I do not have a dog in that race. Let me mind my millennial business. So I don't know how I feel about remakes. I don't know if remakes need to happen. Apparently, they're going to do another Lion King, but it's not another Lion King remake. But they're doing another like Lion King film. I'm hearing other, stuff is coming out the woodworks with films and stuff. I don't know. I feel like I'm remaked out. I just don't know. Speaking of remakes and whatnot, people are waking up, y'all, and talking about um, fucking Grease. You know, what did I want? What did I wanna? Whoo, whoo, whoo. So let me tell you, okay. So people are talking about how rapey it is and how rape culture it is, and they're talking about it, and it's getting a lot of people talking and buzzing about how like creepy it was as a film. And I never really. I mean, I remember when Grease was like I was in theater arts in high school and middle school. We grew up doing Grease. I remember Grease was a Broadway musical. Well, I wasn't alive when that happened, but it was a musical and it was a movie. It was a big thing, and everybody wanted to do it in high school. I always felt like it was just extra on the sexiness of it all. Like it was just this tell me more, and the guys were like that, and I just was like, this is a little extra. But like that was how it was, I suppose. I'm not saying that I'm defending the behavior. I'm just saying that like that people got away with movies like that, but people are just like not here for it, apparently. And on that topic, because sometimes I do listen to you all send me questions and ideas. Let me say something. This is earnestly speaking. I like to pick my own topics, but there are some times where you all are on the same wave as me. But sometimes the topics y'all send me, I'm like, go watch Maury. That's not what I do on this show. But sometimes you all have a couple of thoughts, and I will respond. So somebody sent me a talk about the Pepe Le Pew controversy. So you all know Pepe Le Pew, the skunk, okay, that was in the Warner Brother cartoons. That was like very like over the top and freaky, like a little freaky, stinky skunk, but a cute skunk, but just Pepe Le Pew. Very, very, I'm gonna come up on you and kiss you and use my tail to seduce you type of skunk. And that was his character. He was a creep. So Charles Blow, who of course is someone I'm a big fan of, and I tell you all, read his book, The Devil You Know, his brand new book, which I'm a big fan. I grew up reading his books. His first book was Fire Shut Up in My Bones, which is a masterpiece, and he was a great columnist. I remember I remember reading his columns when I was in college and being inspired by it when I was a college columnist and dreaming like one day I'll have my name on the byline in the New York Times, and I did it not once but twice. So I like him. And I read his column that he talked about, and he discussed Pepe Le Pew and this conversation around cancel culture and all this stuff around the Dr. Seuss and all the drama. Because we talked about the Dr. Seuss stuff, the books, the Dr. Seuss, his family is like taking some of those books off the shelves because they find them to be racist and problematic in so many different ways. Now, no shade, but the books that they took, I wasn't checking for those Dr. Seuss books they took. Like, they didn't take, Green Eggs and Ham, Are You My Mother? Y'all remember Are You My Mother? I thought that was, like, the funniest book ever, with the bird with the dog. They didn't take any books that I thought, like, were like, oh, my God, you can't take Green Eggs and Ham away. You can't take those. Those are classics, right? One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. You can't take that away. Like, those are the iconic books, okay? Those are the ones that I remember. But Dr. Seuss wrote some problematic racist books. They didn't take those books away. They took around books titles that I never heard of. And then there's this conspiracy about Dumbo and Peter Pan being taken away. Let me be clear about these Disney movies. Disney is doing a lot right now, y'all. They're doing a lot right now. But they are taking certain titles like Lady and the Tramp, Peter Pan, and Dumbo specifically. They're and Swiss Family Robinson, I believe, too. They're taking those movies off of the children search for films. So Disney has a adult subscriber section, and they have a children's one for children. And so those movie titles are no longer in the children's section. They're still in the catalog, but for adults. Yeah. And people are saying that's a lot, but I think they're trying to bolster up like their exposure. They understand. I mean, listen, as somebody who studied communications, I'm a communications whiz kid. Like I studied at Penn for undergrad, I studied at USC. There's a lot of research, y'all, that explains the importance of media images and representation and stereotypes on children. Like there's a lot of research about this. And Disney knows, Disney know, because Disney has used research to influence how they animate their films, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. But Disney, the research has been showing, and there's enough decades of information that let us know about representation images. Now, did they fuck up with Soul, in my opinion? Yes. I know people love Soul, but like the idea of not keeping black characters in their full bodies like they did with The Princess and the Frog, to me is problematic, but it's not racist in the same way that you had those damn, when I see an elephant fly, okay, from Dumbo, where they were basically creating caricatures and Sambo-like caricatures of these black crows. The stereotypes that they were putting out there about those crows. And that scene, it was the one, first of all, most of Dumbo is fine. It's when the ending, when he sees these crows that are like basically cutting up in a way that's very performative and very just racist stereotypes around black people and accents. They will not play Song of the South, this film that had the zippity doo dah, zippity. They will not do it. It's a history of racism, and I want to see it. My oh my, what a wonderful day. There was some stereotypes in that film, but like it's a piece of cinematic history, and I just feel like Disney's just doing the fucking most. We want to see the movie. Play Song of the South. Play the fucking movie, and let us watch as a history lesson. You don't got to put in the kids section, but you made it. And I feel like Disney's doing a lot of erasure of their history. No, Disney has a racist history in their films. All these studios did. I remember HBO was trying to take Gone with the Wind off. And I was like, put labels on the shit. But it's a piece of cinematic history. I don't know how I feel about these movies being taken off. Now, they're not taking it off of Song of the South is taken off. It's not on there on Disney Plus. But these other titles, they're still on, but in the adult section. I mean, that's fair. But I just think, to a certain extent, kids should not be just thinking, oh, I love Dumbo, and then learning bad stereotypes about black people, right? Or with Peter Pan, there were stereotypes about Native Americans, okay? Where they had them out there calling them engines and playing upstairs. I mean, those scenes are cringy. What makes the red man red? Huh. Oh my God, y'all. It is when you go back, I mean, and you know what's crazy? Peter Pan is one of my favorite Disney animated films. I love Peter Pan. Like, I grew up on Peter Pan. Like, Peter Pan was my shit. I even like the sequel. I thought The Return to Neverland, I mean, it was not clear the same, but I appreciated aspects of it and the maturity and the adult theme of it. And I remember when it came out, it echoed themes around 9/11. It was like a more darker Disney type film. It's a special film. Watch it as a historical relic, because when you time it in with the time period, Disney was making these movies that acknowledge the times we were in, but subtly. And I could have been a Disney film historian like Leonard Maltin. I love the films. I can talk about their histories all day. But back to Peter Pan. Love Peter Pan. Love Captain Hook. Love Tinkerbell. Captain Hook is a very compelling villain. And I always felt like Disney had a subtlety with making their villains gay. And I think there are things that are problematic about that because of the association between wickedness and queerness, trying to frame that in films. But I also feel like they had straight characters that were also gay too. Like in Pocahontas, I think that Nawama, which was voiced by Nia Long, who was Pocahontas' friend in the film, which that movie is problematic too, we know, right? I think she could have been a lesbian. I also think that Governor Ratcliffe, which was a villain, and, Wiggins, and
I think they had a little thing going on because Governor Ratcliffe wasn't chasing anybody. I also think that Judge Claude Frollo was a repressed homosexual. I think he was gay too. His whole thing with Esmeralda, yeah, he had a fetish, but deep down inside, I think he also had some issues. I mean, he was playing like in the church. I mean, he was in the Catholic Church. He was the judge. He was evil. He hated Quasimodo, but there was something like was a bitter old queen in him. I felt. Maybe I'm wrong. Also, too, Clayton and Tarzan, like giving me like definitely was a butch queen that was out here in these streets. Jafar, let's not even start. Scar, come on, y'all. Ursula the Sea Witch, stereotypes on so many levels. We can get into what makes Ursula a different part of the LGBTQ community that's not lesbian or gay. But there were stereotypes. She was modeled after Divine, which was a famous drag queen back in the day in films. But there's a lot of problematic things with the Disney villains. I mean, Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective, definitely a highly flamboyant character. I'm just like, even in The Princess and the Frog, I mean, all of these characters exuberate this level of the men are very much so like powerful and violent, but also have this queer element to them that's very flamboyant that plays up stereotypes. And I found them most intriguing as someone that was young. I found them the most like nuanced characters. I'm thinking of other characters that did not fit that. Shang Yu and Mulan might have been the only straight villain, Disney villain, in the 90s. Yeah. Because, I mean, Hades, yeah, Hades could have been bi. Frollo, definitely think was gay. Ratcliffe, totally gay. Scar, gay. Jafar, who you fooling? Okay. Gaston, questionable. I also think him and LeFou had a thing. Remember, they made the live action version. LeFou had the crush on him, which was problematic for so many reasons. But I mean, could it be a situation where he had like this bro thing where publicly he was getting the chicks, but then privately they were doing some things in the back? Okay, Disney conspiracy theories over. I'm just saying that there's been a lot of problematicness in these animated films. Peter Pan, I love Captain Hook. I love the character. But that scene, and you all know the scene where he's going for Tiger Lily. He brings Tiger Lily back. They're having a big old celebration. And those white kids from London are putting on red face and the makeup, getting high off of whatever the spirits they were smoking in the film. And the Indians are doing their thing, or the Native Americans, because they called them Indians, right? Racist. Swiss Family Robinson, that film, racist. The live action film, racist. And then the other one, like I said, it was Dumbo. It was Peter Pan. Those were the two main ones that like really suffered. Oh, Lady and the Tramp. So Lady and the Tramp has a Siamese kitten song. And that was the "We are Siamese, if you please. Dun, dun, dun. We are Siamese, if you don't please." That song, racist. The mocking of Chinese people, the mocking of Asians, the eye squints, the dances, the tails, the broken accent. That is racist. Okay? And they had a song. Okay? And it's so interesting that in Disney films, they always associate their racism through song. So like the Siamese kittens had a song, the Indians, Native Americans in Peter Pan had a fucking song. I see an elephant. The Crows and Dumbo had a song. And these were Disney classics. Okay, them songs were Disney classics. The Siamese song was put on various Disney classic CD, cassette tapes and stuff. People treat it like that was a hit. Now, my favorite Disney song, one of my favorite ones, and I think I still remember it. And I love this film, and I love Cruella de Vil. Cruella de Vil was an interesting character too. I love this song. I'm going to sing it. It's one of my favorite Disney animated songs. And it's so basic. I used to sing it all the time when I was little, and it used to drive my mother crazy. But I'm gonna actually I'm gonna get my animated character voice. Once upon a time I would have been an actor. Not that I love what I do now. I don't have any plans on being an actor. But I used to, get into it. And I used to sing it all the time. And I love the song. So it's let me see if I can sing it. Canine crunchies are unique. They make each meal a special treat. Happy dogs are those who eat nutritious canine crunchies. Canine crunchies all contain selected meat and wholesome grain. Let me see the rest of it. I do love this song. I'm gonna look up the lyrics because that's how much I'm into it. I'm into Canine Crunchies. So Canine Crunchies is the song, the theme, which is written by a woman named Lucille Bliss. And she wrote the song. If you watch 101 Dalmatians, the animated version, go to Disney Plus if you haven't seen it. Well, y'all have seen it. It's the song, it's where Rolly, the dogs, are watching TV. And there's Thunderbolt, who is the big dog, who is like the superhero dog who everyone loves, and he's so awesome. And they're watching this, but in there's a commercial. And to me, the commercial is what sells me. Like the Thunderbolt scene is cool, and there's like 101 Dalmatians sequels, anime sequels that talk about that dog. But to me, this was the song. So here it goes. Canine Crunchies can't be beat. They make each meal a special treat. Happy dogs are those who eat nutritious Canine Crunchies. Canine Crunchies all contain selected meat and wholesome grain. Toy Chihuahua or Great Dane, all of Canine Crunchies. So do what all the smart dogs do, and you'll make the whole day through. You can be a champion too if you eat Canine Crunchies. Woof! That was how it went. And I thought that shit was funny. Not racist, not offensive, classic, appropriate. What happened to those songs? That was what I liked. And that's random. I sung Canine Crunchies. But I thought it was such a good, film. And I like the anime version. I love the live action version. See, I could do a remake of that. And they are going to do a remake. They're doing Cruella with Emma Stone, which isn't a remake of 101 Dalmatians. It's like what they've done now. They've done like anthology type additional films. Like I love Maleficent with Angelina Jolie. Loved both of those films. I loved it. Those are some of the great Disney remakes. These other, well, they're not even remakes. They're like, extensions of the film, a continuation, background stories, hero stories, origin stories. I love those. But like Disney is good at that. What Disney's been fucking up though is when they've been trying to do remakes of like live action films. Like Aladdin was aight. Lion King, leave it alone. They could have left that alone. But it made a lot of box office money, so now they're gonna make another one. Ugh. Beauty and the Beast. Now they're about to do Little Mermaid, with, Haley. From Haley and Chloe, which those girls are adorable. Interesting. And fuck Matthew Knows, who was talking about there should be comparisons to Beyonce and and I guess Haley or Chloe, one of the girls. I was like he was like talking about how that disrespectful it was or something. Like, leave Matthew, go tend to that child you had with Solange's friend, okay? Tend to that. Do that for us. Stay out of this family affair. So, a lot of you all have been asking me about another topic. So some of you are giving me topics that I have found interesting. This one came on my list, and it's just baffling. I don't have much to say about it. I just want to say that a kindergarten teacher is suspended after allegedly forcing a black child to stick his hand into a dirty toilet. The student's grandmother said, "I don't ever want this to happen to another child again." Yes, you heard that right. Okay, this shit is wild. All right. So apparently, a Little Rock teacher who allegedly forced a kindergartner to stick his hand into a toilet and remove feces. Okay, apparently the teacher said she knew she was wrong to call in the 5-year-old's mother after the incident, but she stated to the principal that she was trying to teach how not to stop up the toilet. Okay, so she said, quote, my God, that's what she was quoted saying, the teacher. Her name is Ashley. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the mother. I'm sorry, the mother is named Ashley Murray. And she told this to the Arkansas TV stations. So apparently, the teacher was promptly suspended and school officials are investigating claims, but the mother has pulled her child out of the school and is calling for the instructor to be fired, saying, I don't ever want this to happen to another child again. That is sad. That is sad, y'all. That is so sad. Like, how can you, what? Like, this is the shit, like, why? What? bizarre. Don't understand it. Not going to make any sense of it. I'm not even, listen, I'm not going to make sense of it. I'm not even going to make it make sense. I could easily try to create a conspiracy theory in my mind, like why this woman did this, like, does it make sense? Sometimes it's just bullshit. Sometimes it's just racism. Sometimes it's just anti-blackness. And sometimes that's just what it is. And there's no excuse. Okay? So, shout to, Merrick Garland. He finally got, confirmed as Attorney General. And Marsha Fudge, black woman, housing secretary. Can I just say that this is like housing secretaries? There's been a bunch of black housing secretaries. The last housing secretary for HUD was, of course, the infamous, disgraced Ben Carson. And now she's taking the position. I just feel like every black appointment, they always like to put people in housing development. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like HUD has become the new just black appointee seat. Like everybody always say, let's just put a black person in that position. And apparently, a black person is the first to like actually lead the position when it was created a couple of decades ago in the 60s, I believe, or the 70s. But HUD has always that position has always been the position that they put black people in charge of in presidential administrations. Interesting. We could have had some other people in other positions, but they won't let us be great. So apparently, Britney Spears is aware of a new unauthorized documentary about her life, aka she's aware of that documentary, which we already knew. Van Jones is telling people he felt ambushed by hosts of The View, which we already knew about. Folks are talking about, are we ready for Glenn Close versus Olivia Colman for the Oscars? That's coming up. But let me get into something that somebody sent me. And I know how I want to talk about this because I have thoughts. Because a lot of people are asking for my opinions. And I mean, this Sunday, it's coming. And it's coming. The Grammys are this Sunday, and you all have been asking for my predictions on what I think about the Grammys. And there's a lot to talk about. I'll just say that there's a lot of things to unpack, okay, when it comes to talking about some of the stuff that's going on. I want to see the major, I'm curious, like I want to see the nominations. Like I've been looking at the nominations. People know my predictions. I'm going to hurt people's feelings with my predictions because we do this all the time where we get excited about the Grammys. Everyone's like, oh my God, this person should win. And I just have to tell you all, until these groups are diverse, these awards and these winners are not going to be what we want them to be in certain cases. Okay. Like I saw the BAFTAs had diverse nominations. I can't wait to see these Oscar nominations because I think it's going to be a shit show this year. Because I told you it's going to be a wild year. But everyone's asking about the Grammys and what I think. I'm going to watch it. I watch these award shows. But like I've gotten to a point where I've gotten a little annoyed because sometimes it's just stupid. So let's get into it because people ask for my predictions. So record of the year, the nominees are Black Parade by Beyonce. Why? Pointless. Don't get it. Don't think it should have been nominated. I'm sorry. It doesn't. It was not her best work. Colors by Black Pumas. Cool. Fair. Rockstar, with the baby featuring Roddy Ricch. Makes sense. Say So with Doja Cat. Everything I Wanted with Billie Eilish. I can see that. Don't Start Now with Dua Lipa. A hit. Circles with Post Malone. Fair. Savage by Megan Thee Stallion featuring Beyonce. So who I think gonna win this? I think Dua Lipa's gonna win this. I think Don't Stop Now is gonna win. Now, they might surprise us because the Grammys like to give us a surprise. But I think but then again, they really don't give us surprises like that. I think Dua Lipa's gonna win Don't Start Now. I think it is just a hot song. Taylor Swift is not in the category, and I think this is gonna be her win. I mean, I think it's a great song. It should have been a number one hit, but it was number 2. But I feel like it's a bop. If you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody. I don't know. I like the song. I think that's gonna win. All right. Album of the year. Shalembo by Janae Aiko. Don't know why she got nominated, but they threw her in there. Black Pumas, Deluxe Edition. They love them some Black Pumas. You know, okay. Everyday Life with Coldplay. What the fuck? A joke. Did you say? Volume 3 by Jacob Collier. Okay. Women in Music Part 3 by Haim. Okay. Here come the real tough ones. Future Nostalgia. Dua Lipa. Okay. All right. Hollywood's Bleeding. Post Malone. Sure. Folklore. Taylor Swift. So you know my bias. I really do love Folklore. And y'all know I love that album by Taylor Swift. I think it's a fight between Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa and Folklore by Taylor Swift. But I think Taylor Swift's going to get it. I don't know. I have a funny feeling this is her comeback. Because her last two albums, Lover and before that, it was Reputation, they just kept knocking them out, even though they were high-selling albums. And I feel like she did a complete 180 with her music, her sound for this album. Like, if you notice the pattern with her albums, she's always, the ones that win, there's a complete departure. So, like, her first album of the year win, right, was, oh goodness, what, shoot. Well, she was nominated for Red, which I thought she should have won for. But, you know, she didn't. She, you know, she should have won for that. That was her first nomination, her first win. But Fearless was the album, her first album. She was one of the youngest artists before Billie Eilish took the throne to win Album of the Year, the youngest female artist to win Album of the Year. And then Billie Eilish, of course, became the first to win a lot of these categories, including Album of the Year last year when she swept for When Do We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, which was a phenomenal album. She deserved. Bad Guy was a great song. I would have liked maybe, you know, Old Town Road or to take, you know, or Lizzo to get some. I mean, Lizzo got some things too. It was interesting how the Grammys did last year with Lil Nas X and Lizzo and all that. But they all won Grammys, but, you know, which is interesting with the categories. But like I said before, I think that Fearless was a country album. 1989, which she also won for, which I would have liked Kendrick Lamar to win for The Pimp a Butterfly. Honestly, Kendrick's been robbed several times. Kendrick should have really won for Damn, but fucking Bruno Mars won for 24 Karat Magic, which was so stupid. But he won, nonetheless. You know, you all's favorite wedding singer in like 70s, you know, soul cosplay. That one, who has talent, can't take that from him, but like very like safe. So Taylor Swift should have won. Taylor Swift won for the 1989 pop album, Full Transition Crossover. This album is not a pop album. This is not a pop record. This is a adult alternative album, and she kills it. So I think she's gonna win. But Dua Lipa, hey, she saved pop last year. Okay, when everybody thought it was just Ariana Grande, it was Dua Lipa. She emerged. So I'm gonna say Folklore, but I wouldn't be mad if Dua Lipa wins because Taylor Swift will be the first female artist to win 3 Album of the Year awards. And she's like under 35, which is the youngest to do it, the fastest to do it. And like, damn, right? Like, you know, she's going to be up there with Frank Sinatra and Stevie Wonder and shit. So that's interesting. Song of the Year, Black Parade with Beyonce, The Box with Roddy Ricch, Cardigan, which is by Taylor Swift, of course, Circles by Post Malone, Don't Start Now with Dua Lipa, Everything I Wanted with Billie Eilish, I Can't Breathe by her, and If the World Was Ending with J.P. Sachs featuring Julia Michaels. This is a tough one. First of all, Song of the Year, The Box, a joke. Black Parade with Beyonce, again, I don't know why they did this. I just think they want Beyonce to come there. I think they're trying to force a performance from Beyonce. I feel like Beyonce got the most Grammy nominations, and the crazy part was that she didn't put out an album last year. Like, they really are just giving her a bunch of nominations for a collaboration on Savage and a bunch of nominations for this song Black Parade that like did not really chart high. That was kind of like a bonus song that kind of followed for Black is King film. Like, it was not that kind of, like, this is just weird. I just think it's just the Grammys trying, like they must have saw Beyonce in the word black and just said Black Lives Matter and just gave it to her, the nomination. But it's just such a pointless. Sorry, I just don't see it. And it's not this. She's done way better. I mean, she's had better songs than this. Like Formation. You're gonna put this up, but Formation could have gotten it. Okay. And Lemonade, right? But again, that was the year that Hello by Adele was there and she swept everything. I don't know who's gonna get Song of the Year. I would just say, to be safe, Cardigan by Taylor Swift makes sense in the song category. Dua Lipa could get Record of the Year. Taylor Swift could get Cardigan. What's interesting is that Taylor Swift has never won a Song of the Year Grammy or a Record of the Year Grammy, even though she's been nominated countless times. So this would be great for her to finally win a general category win that's not Album of the Year. She typically wins in pop categories and country categories, but she doesn't really win the general categories. And she's had some great songs over the years. I mean, I liked Always Be This. I love Lover. I thought Lover, the song, was great. I also loved Blank Space. I thought that was a great record. But, I don't make these decisions. So the other major category is Best New Artist. And that category is filled with a lot of artists I really don't really know like that. But there's Ingrid Andress, Phoebe Bridgers, Chica, Noah Cyrus. Yes, Noah Cyrus, who's related to Miley Cyrus. D Smoke, Doja Cat, Kitronda, which is interesting because he's been around for a minute, and Megan Thee Stallion. It's going to be a toss-up, man. I think the fight is going to be between Doja Cat and Megan Thee Stallion. I would personally like to see Megan Thee Stallion win this. I would like to see a female rapper win Best New Artist. It has not happened, okay? Like Cardi B should have won, but she couldn't because one of her songs was nominated the year prior, so she couldn't even qualify, and that sucked. Nicki Minaj didn't win it. A lot of female rappers don't win this award. I mean, recently Chance the Rapper had won, but I would love to see a female rapper win this. This would be a big fucking deal for the industry to see a female rapper win in the general category. And like Meg Thee Stallion needs a historical moment, As you know, Cardi B just made history again. Bodak Yellow is the first female rap song to ever go diamond. Okay, that's 10 million, y'all. 10 million for a single. Which, of course, I believe Lauryn Hill has had a diamond album before a diamond song. Bodak Yellow, which was the song that did it all, that broke all the records. It came out in 2017. So, like, she got diamond 4 years later. So that's interesting. I think I want Megan Thee Stallion to get it, but I know there is a Doja Cat army. In spite of her racist behavior, problematic anti-blackness, there's still people that like her music. So I'm a little torn. I'm personally a little torn. I don't really care for it for her. I don't really see it for her personally. I just don't. Ain't gonna lie to y'all. Outside of that, there's these other categories. So those are general categories. I mean, there's like, pop categories. I don't know. I think that the night is going to be very white. There's going to be some black wins in some other places. I would like to see Megan Thee Stallion win a Grammy. I think she deserves. But I think it's going to be a Dua Lipa, Taylor Swift night. So be prepared to see Dua Lipa and Taylor Swift get up on stage. I think that is going to be the vibe. Because it's been a long time since we've seen Taylor Swift at the Grammys. So I think context is what matters, okay? The context matters, and I think that's very important. So I want to see, I would love to see that type of love come out of the work. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see that do the work or whatever like that. And it's been great. And so we know this is going to happen. We know that Taylor Swift is going to sweep. And Dua Lipa might sweep. I don't know. It's complicated. I feel like there's also that pressure for the Academy, right? The Recording Academy to get diverse, right? I think there's a pressure on them to say, you know what, let's diversify. But you know what? They always do that bullshit. So I don't trust them. I think they're good at nominating, right? They're into cosmetic diversity and inclusion, right? I feel like their mindset is in the we want to do cosmetic. Like we want the look of diversity inclusion, but we don't actually want diversity inclusion, right? As far as the winners go in these categories. I don't know. I mean, there's been a long time since a black artist has won album of the year. And this year, I don't think a black artist is going to win. And I don't think that there was an album by a black artist, in my opinion, that really was the winner this year. I just don't think the albums were uh uh you know a thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see it. I don't know if there was an album last year that I thought should be album of the year that was not folklore or future nostalgia. I mean, there are the mad. I mean, first of all, can we just for 5 seconds? There are some Zayn fans, that are like going hard for him, being like, he should have been nominated for a Grammy. He said, fuck the Grammys and all this stuff. I'm sorry, Zayn, but you don't have the. I mean, there's a lot of mediocre people like Justin Bieber getting nominated. So, like, Yummy got a Grammy nomination. So maybe, what do I know? But, like, I'm like, Zayn, you ain't put out no music, bro, that has been anything of substance that should get a Grammy nomination. Like, I know you mad that Harry Styles out here getting Grammy nominations, but I mean, Harry's music last year was better than your shit. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know. Some people be out here complaining. I don't really know. Oh, fuck. Let me back up. It's been a long time. Let me take that back. There is a black album that should have been nominated and could have won and could have won for these categories that should have won record of the fucking year. And that is The Weeknd for After Hours. I almost forgot. How could I forget the biggest fucking diss of like in recent music history of the Grammys? They gave The Weeknd no Grammy nominations. 0. For one of his best albums and for an album that has some hits. Okay? He had 2 number 1 hits. 3 top 5 hits. Okay? And this man got no Grammy love. Fuck the Grammys for that. The Weeknd, Blinding Lights was my song of last year. Okay? Cardigan was cute, but that was not my song. Blinding Lights was my record. And I also like Don't Stop Now. Don't Stop Now, both of them was in replay. But like, let's be real. Blinding Lights has stayed on the charts. His album continues to be on the charts even after, like, it's been like a year now. That album was like one of the albums of the pandemic. It was the male pop record of the pandemic. Okay? And Blinding Lights was just a jam. It's a banger. It's timeless. We're going to be hearing Blinding Lights 5 years from now, and that shit's still going to snap, okay? He's got hits like that. So I'm very disappointed that he did not get nominated in those categories, especially when he was sweeping up other award shows. Like, he won the VMA for Video of the Year, which should have been a precursor for Blinding Lights at the MTV Video Music Awards, which it's become obvious these award shows now, they don't precurse to other shows when it comes to music. Like, MTV is in its own world. They go with the most popular people, the most known, visible people, and sometimes they just go for ratings because they've given Camila Cabello awards. And I'm like, what the fuck? Camila Cabello, okay, has a video of the year for Havana. Video of the year for Havana? In a year where you had fucking Childish Gambino's classic, okay? Childish Gambino gave you a masterpiece. This Is America. And this chick wins? Listen, don't get me started on awards. I'm just saying, we're watching the Grammys, we're biting our nails, we're going to be shook. Okay, let's hope that payola, Google payola if you never heard of payola. Let's hope that payola doesn't come through and mess up these wins. But like, let's watch it. Let's see what happens. And that's everything. I mean, let's do it. So I'm excited. Looking forward to these performances. Hopefully it's not a super awkward award show. I've been so tired of some of these virtual performances. Let's just hope that there's some better performances because we will recap this next week and it better be good. All right. Thank you so much for listening as always. And I'm going to make me some good homemade soup. I've been, like I said, I've been cooking lately and I'm making one of my favorite iconic chicken noodle soups. And I've been remixing it with new ingredients like this. Like I've been using Miracle Noodles, which is something Kelly, who was the same Kelly who gave me this lovely, these note cards. Kelly, when I was doing keto, which I'm playing with keto-esque things. Like I'm trying to cut carbs, but then again, I like my pizza. But I'm not eating like carb overload. But I'm recognizing patterns of how to ebb and flow with carbs in my regular diet. So it's normal. But I've been incorporating Miracle Noodles, which is carb free, and really delicious and healthy and good for you, into my soup. So it gives me, so it's like chicken noodle soup, but it has a faux chicken noodle faux almost. Like it's like not uh, egg noodles like I used to use. So I'm experimenting with that and seeing how it goes. But yeah, so enjoy this warm weather and weather. Enjoy your time out. Do your thing. Be safe. Get vaccinated. Keep on getting vaccinated. My wedding party's now 90%. Shout out to y'all. And we'll see each other or hear from each other soon. Earnestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Earnestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.